not a politician. I'm a womanist theologian. The difference between a politician and a womanist theologian is I care about all of you. I care about the community. I care about what's happening in the community. I care about the people in the community. I am the current pastor of this congregation. I am one of the co-chairs. Yes, ma'am?
Could you turn that light off, please?
If I could figure out how. Thank you, because it was bothering me too. I am one of the co-chairs for self-development of people. Is Colleen in here? No. Reverend Les Boone is out in the sanctuary. We did not know we were going to be back here, so we did not hire security for the front of the building. So we're going to be, bouncing back and forth. But I am the co-chair for self-development of people. On your table, you should see a purple flyer, and it talks about self-development of people. And that is, from a womanist perspective, when we begin to talk about, and I don't do politics. I do nonpartisan voter participation, nonpartisan voter registration, nonpartisan know your issues. And one of the issues, of course, is economics. How long am I supposed to be up here talking? Y'all think you're gonna have to stop me. You do know that, right? One of the things that, so I'm co-chair of self-development of people. Grants this year will be up to $6,000. The Pittsburgh committee will be taking applications, and we will not even look at them until September the 10th. However, if you are interested in a self-development of people project and you have something, we can help you get it nationally. And nationally, where ours is only $6,000, nationally you can get up to $15,000. And while they still got some money in their pockets, we need to go after the money. And I will make the statement that last year we had 3 groups out of Pittsburgh qualify for that $15,000. I am also the current president of the Business and Professional Women of Pittsburgh. On your table or over there, you should see something about a scholarship program on April the 18th. Business and Professional Women are giving away scholarships. So if you have someone who is eligible, we specialize in young women, but it is open to young men, old women. We don't care who you might be. If you are going for higher education, we will assist you with that. And again, all of this is tied into civic engagement. Okay, I want you to understand. I'm not here to talk politics. I'm here to talk about civic engagement. As part of what I do in terms of, I'm also part of the Black Women's Roundtable, so I will be in Washington, D.C. on March 11th and going back to visit our legislators. I had the opportunity to do that last year, and I'll have the opportunity to do that again this year. Of course, we know that our senator out of Braddock, he has a tendency not to be present, but we did have an opportunity to meet with his staff, and it was a good relationship. One of the things that all people, regardless of who you are, black, white, pink, or purple, you need to be engaged. You need to be aware of exactly what's happening in your life as well as in the lives of those folk who surround you. If you pay attention to the things that are happening, not just with your life, but when you look to the left and when you look to the right and you realize that you are not the only one who might be cold, you might not be the only one who's hungry, and therefore you can come together, common issues. Now, a politician, yeah, we advocate. I don't advocate for a politician, I advocate for a policy. And so if that politician is in line with the policy that I am advocating for, then that politician just might get my vote. But if that politician, y'all following me? Ain't doing what they ought to be doing in order to make a difference in my life and in the lives of those folks to the left and to the right of me, then I ain't got time for that politician. Okay? So when we begin to look at the issues and the things that are around us, for instance, in this community, we're talking about the fact that we're still trying to get us a grocery store. You know, we still got the bodega kind of things in communities like Homewood. we got a restaurant, the Everyday Cafe, our neighbor, Bible Center church next door, John Wallace and Company. They did open a restaurant down the street. I thought we was going to be the first ones. When I put Wi-Fi in this building about 10 years ago, I was like, oh, we on now. We gonna have us a coffee, and we can make the best sandwiches. And I had, at that time, I had KG here. That boy could fry some fish. Lord have mercy, that boy could fry some fish. We had the best fish fries in town. But we saw that as a way to make money. Bethesda's a dying church, let's be honest. You're in a marvelous building, great facility. We're a remnant congregation. But we have stayed alive by tapping into and trying to figure out how we can make a difference in the lives of the people to the left and to the right. When you look at the issues, I need you to not only look at the issues that impact you. So we're talking about economics. When you look at the economics of this country and this world, I want you to pay attention to artificial intelligence. Pay attention to that AI. When I look at, from the perspective of being in with groups like the Business and the Professional Women's Club and the Black Women's Roundtable, we are aware of the fact that the folk who have the lowest paying jobs in most cases are women because they're clerical. And the AI is replacing. Yeah, I wrote, I know you wrote that thing the other day when you typed that memo up and it said, I can help you make it better. And you clicked on that button and you looked at it and you said, yeah, I kind of like that. Well, that's AI. And AI is putting folk out of business. It's also helping you not to think. Okay? Use it for what it's good for. I'm not going to pretend that AI is not a better Google search in some cases, where you go ahead and you use it and you search and you look at it, but you need to pay attention because AI is also inaccurate. Among the things I do, I got one of them jacked up, mixed up, round the table kind of backgrounds. I spent my 21 years in corporate America in systems. And I started off as a COBOL programmer, systems analyst. Then I became a tech trainer and a corporate trainer. Then I went to work for the man over there trying to hide his face like he don't know me, over at the seminary. And one of the things that I have learned is that God has granted every gift that you have ever had. He wants you to use it. And so I need you folk to begin to think about the things that are around you. Our immigrant community. We used to have on Kelly Street down here, as the community was changing and we started reaching out, we even, Right Now Media, some of you probably use it, yes? Okay. We tapped into Right Now Media, paid those fees so that we could have cartoons and Bible studies for our Hispanic neighbors that even though we could not speak Spanish, but if they came, we wanted them to be able to access God in a language that they could understand. So you need to pay attention who's to your left and who's to your right. Our immigrant community, we need to pay attention. Oh, what's that thing? What's that thing? And I know what it is, but I'm just messing with you right now. But they came for, they use it when they begin to talk about 1939. Have y'all read 1984? And have you paid attention to what happened in 1939? Did you watch the progress of the was he a dictator, authoritarian? What did they consider him to be? You know that man, his name was a H.I. and something, he hit something. But in the year that he took over, in 9 months, he changed the world. And he changed everything that happened in his country because people were not paying attention. Civic engagement. I don't do politics, but I do civic engagement. He changed how folk thought about it. 8 years ago, I was sitting there, they're going to let him do that? Ain't that the moment's cause? Why is that happening? Ain't nobody paying attention? And folks still are not paying attention. I don't do politics. I do policies, and we need to get rid of. If someone is not serving your needs, then you need to make sure that you are eliminating them out of the picture. The issues that pertain to us as a people, black, white, brown, we need to look at the fact that in a minute, as a woman, I am so proud of being part of business and professional women, because business and professional women are the ones who gave us, as women, the right to vote. That 19th Amendment, them suffragettes stood on the front lines and made sure we had the right to vote. Those suffragettes made sure that the Equal Pay Amendment, Equal Pay Day is coming up on March the 3rd. But they made sure that we had the right to equal pay. Now, we ain't got it yet, but we got the right to have it. And when I look at what's happening in the world, the issues, the civic engagement issues that we need to be involved in, I am looking at the fact that somebody is calling something, I think they call it the save or the safe or the so-and-so, whatever it is. If you are a female and if you have ever gotten married and if your name is not the same as the name that's on your birth certificate, you will not be able to vote. Pay attention to the issues, the issues. If you one of them folk that got a hyphenated name because you know you had arrived, honey, and so now when you got married, you merged your name with your husband's name, and he took part of your name, and you took part of your spouse's, because we're in a whole new age. But you done merged their names together, and when you merge the names together, it ain't the name that's on your birth certificate. You won't vote either. That's my job. You asked me to see. Don't ask me to do something that you don't really want done. Okay? When this issue came up, and it was kind of interesting, and I'm on the committee, but when it came up, I said we need to do so and so, and they said we got to get us a man. Anyway. Glory, glory. Listen, the issues are voting rights. The issues are economic. The issues are immigration. And immigration not for the sake of immigration, because when I left you, I went down to Carlow University, and I was the coordinator for the Mercy Center. I was responsible for, check this out, 21 again. I was responsible for spring break. Okay? I spent 5 to 7 years doing spring break. And when we went to Immokalee, Florida, and it was always tied to an issue, and I teach a class on how what we were doing tied into something. And this, and even out there in the Midwest, I sent one group to the Midwest, out there where Kellogg is, in Michigan, where they're picking the blueberries. We're down in Florida where they were picking the tomatoes. And the issues were the same. The migrants had come over to pick the crop. Some of them had stayed, the same way folk do when they come on vacation from Europe. You know, the countries that there are certain people would prefer to be here than the folk who showed up to do the work. They stayed. Nobody put them out. As a matter of fact, the thing that fascinated me, and I got some great tapes, I just wish I had somebody who could edit it. The interesting part, it was just like slavery. It reminded me of the sharecroppers, of how when the Negroes got free, but they wasn't free from Massa for long, because Massa said, I know you ain't got no money, so just stay right here, and I'll give you this part for you and your family. You grow this part for me, and don't worry about how you gonna eat. Just go on down there to the general store, and you can put it on credit, and then when you put it on credit, you could never pay it off because you just kept. Well, when I got down there to Immokalee, I discovered that those immigrants, those undocumented in some cases folk, who were picking the tomatoes, they were staying in these facilities where Massa was giving them the ability to go to the general store. But they were never gonna get free. And so they kept working because they still owed the bill. It wasn't like you could pay the bill and go on back home. They were never gonna be able to pay that bill. And so when I look at the issues that are coming up now, And I see that somebody saying, well, we don't need you no more. I can barely see now. Now, you know doggone well ain't nobody gonna get me to get a screwdriver and make you no iPhone. First of all, I can't afford an iPhone. I can't afford the Samsung I got, but I know I can't afford an iPhone. Nobody in this country wants to do that kind of labor. And AI ain't gonna do it. But the AI is gonna be your cobot. Notice they're not calling them robots anymore. Pay attention to the language. You know, you got coworkers, and now they want you to get used to the fact that you're gonna have a cobot. If you pay attention to the issues and the things that are going on around the country, you'll notice that they even got a cafe, I think I saw in New York, where there's some silly people. So y'all better pray for these chairs. They want to date they want a romance bot, I guess. I don't know what the heck they're doing. That used to be blow up dolls, but I guess now they AI robots. I don't know. But people are falling in love. They're falling in love with the AI. You know, they even tell you that when you get on to ChatGPT and whatever that other one name is, you can go ahead and give it a name, and then that way you can, when you type in the morning, you can say, "Good morning, John. How are you feeling?" And John will answer you. As a matter of fact, there was a couple of folk who told me, and I've been paying attention, they're telling me to wrap it up. I told you shouldn't have let me up here. There's a couple of things there's tons of things that you need to pay attention to. And all I'm asking is that you pay attention to them. I don't do politics. I don't do politics. I do the issues. I do the policies. And if the politician is not doing what they need to do, you unite and you work on the issues. Are there any questions?